What's going on, guys? Dawkbro back again. Hope you're all fantastic today, and I'm so excited to record this video, guys, because we finally got Fnaf news that filming is going to be started in spring 2021. An official post by Scott talking about all the scripts. It's a really long one, which I'm going to delve into soon and talk about it. Loads of different scripts that have been written over the years, and Scott's talked about them all. So yeah, the biggest news right now, guys, is that filming is going to start next year for the film, which probably means if filming starts in spring 2021, the film's going to be out at least 2022, I would say. October 2022, around Halloween maybe, or summer, something like that. So yeah, it's finally taking off, guys. Next year, something to look forward to. The Fnaf movie is finally being filmed. Now, I don't know about castings. I don't know whether they've found a cast to start filming. They must have, if they're ready to start filming next year. So unfortunately, guys, I can confirm that I've not been casted for anything. Not even a piece of trash on the Freddy Fazbear tiles in the restaurant. So yeah, I'm going to read all of this to you guys, take apart each script. There's some nice juicy stuff in there. So yeah, I'm going to read it, so get excited. Hi everyone. Before we get to the bad news concerning the state of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, I wanted to share a brief history of the Fnaf screenplay. It's been a long road, so let's take a look at some of the screenplays that have come and gone over the years, in no particular order. Or feel free to skip to the end real quick to see the bad news and then come back and enjoy the list. Some of these came from big studios, some from big directors, some from me, and some from other hired writers. I gave the screenplays a name, and I'll include a brief synopsis, as well as what ultimately led to each screenplay being rejected. Let's get started. The F Screenplay. Basic setup. Group of teenage troublemakers break into Freddy's. Chaos ensues. Problems. Although a pretty basic setup, there were a lot of odd choices here, which only got weirder as the story continued. The story ended with our protagonists in a secret underground animatronic factory that was designing robots for the government. Verdict? What the heck? Straight away, too far from source material. Tossed. So yeah, guys, the F Screenplay, basically way too out there. So, group of teenagers go into Freddy's. They discover a secret underground bunker, kind of like Sister Location. But the Sister Location underground facility was making robots for the government. So that is way out of the Fnaf lore. Maybe if it was just, William Afton's underground facility that we do know existed in the Fnaf universe, then that would have been okay. But making animatronics for the government? The Plushies Take Manhattan screenplay. Basic setup, Plushies Take Manhattan. Problems, Plushies Take Manhattan. Verdict, burned with fire. So I actually want to know if this was a joke. Scott, was this a joke one? Or are you being serious that there was a legit script of the Fnaf plushies taking over Manhattan? Is that a joke one, or is that serious? I'm not even kidding. I actually thought that was a joke. The Random Charlie screenplay. Basic setup. Charlie and friends sneak into Freddy's after hours to retrieve a lost toy. Problems. Although sharing names of familiar characters from the series, these characters had nothing to do with their game and book counterparts. So, while featuring familiar elements of the games, it seemed too loosely based on the game and lost a lot of its impact because of it. Verdict, felt like a random bag of Fnaf elements with no real stakes. Meh. So, Charlie was just a random person. Again, a separate character from the universe and the book lore. So it's just a bunch of random characters that have similar aspects to the games and stuff. So, apparently it was too, it wasn't connected enough to the lore of the games. But yeah, that one seems okay. Going in there to retrieve a lost toy, though, seems a bit cliche to me. Oh, we're going into Freddy's to find a toy. I'd rather go into for a reason. a solid reason why to go back to Freddy's, you know, maybe for revenge, maybe for avenging somebody, or, you know, investigating, something like that. The Silver Eyes Screenplay. Basic setup. Kira and I, so Kira is the author of the Silver Eyes trilogy, both worked on 3 versions of a Silver Eyes screenplay over the course of about a year, trying to find the right approach to the story from the first book. Problems. These were the first attempts I made myself to write a screenplay after realising it was going to be difficult to find someone else who understood the lore well enough to do it. Unfortunately, it also meant these screenplays suffered greatly from my inexperience at writing. Even Kira, with her writing expertise, couldn't save them. Verdict: although these had some good elements, I ultimately decided to focus on making a screenplay from the games and not from the books. Okay, interesting. So the Silver Eyes story is actually not that bad to make in a movie, in my opinion. After reading, you know, Silver Eyes, The Twisted Ones, and Fourth Closet, there wasn't, you know, I can see that being in a movie, but again, I agree with Scott there, where I think personally as well that the game lore story will work better in a movie than the books, in my opinion. You've got everything solid from the games, and yeah, I think the game lore and stuff would be better for a movie. The Pawn Shop Screenplay. Basic setup. A kid who watches after a pawn shop finds trouble when an animatronic is brought in. It turns out Freddy's had been robbed, and the animatronics were taken to different locations for sale. The other animatronics come to retrieve the one at the pawn shop, and the kid and his friends get roped into adventure. Problems. A creative approach, but felt a little too much like A Boy and His Animatronic. Too much after-school adventure, not enough horror. Verdict. Seemed like a good idea at the time. To be fair, guys, that doesn't sound too bad in my opinion. Again, maybe it strays away from the animatronics being, you know, haunted and stuff. The fact that the animatronics are going, like, escaping the pawn shops to see the other animatronics. I don't know. That might be a bit too out there. I don't know. For some people. And I can imagine that happening, where they see the Freddy animatronics and they take them back to Freddy's, and they get into an adventure of investigating what's happened to these animatronics and William Afton and stuff. So yeah, that doesn't seem too bad. That's kind of like getting like a Stranger Things vibe from that. Or an It vibe with Pennywise the Clown, like, you know, stuff like that, like a group of teenagers. But that one doesn't seem too bad. But again, I think it should be more focused on the Fnaf story, rather than, you know, other characters after, you know, being, you know, the animatronics getting robbed and stuff. I think it should focus on the core story. The Cassidy Screenplay. Interesting that he's called it Cassidy. Cassidy's supposed to be the name, guys, of Golden Freddy, by the way, in the game lore. So interesting how Scott's actually said Cassidy. Basic setup. Diving deep. This screenplay packed in a lot of lore following the story of Cassidy. Problems. Spanning multiple time periods, following multiple characters, and featuring lore from multiple games. This was pretty saturated to a fault. It may have been satisfying to the most hardcore fans, but it would have left the majority of people confused and lost. Hey, wait, maybe this was the most accurate screenplay. Verdict. Ultimately more of a visual encyclopedia than a movie. This just wasn't satisfying, even to me. Out. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he's talking about the story of Cassidy, okay? I mean, Golden Freddy, okay? Because multiple games, Cassidy's the most, you know, cool character in the story of the origins of Golden Freddy, maybe the Bite as well. So yeah, I'm pretty sure basically Scott's just confirmed Cassidy is Golden Freddy. Multiple games as well. So, you know, it could be the bite as well, the crying child from Fnaf 3, the mini games. Just have a think about that. Because I still do believe that. I still believe Golden Freddy's the bite victim. But anyway, let's move on. The Misfit Kid Screenplay. Basic setup. Single mom brings her kid to a new town. Kid finds Freddy's. Hilarity ensues. Problems. One of the problems in creating a modern day story with an old Freddy setting is finding a way to connect the protagonists to the restaurant, finding a reason for them to be there, and finding a reason for them to stay. The problem here was that the reason for this kid to go to Freddy's and have misadventures was too contrived and too forced. Verdict. Not a bad setup, but it just didn't work. If I don't care about the characters, then there's a good chance no one else will either. Pass. This was going to be the screenplay for a while because it didn't have any serious flaws. I ultimately just decided it wasn't good enough though. I like that one. I actually like that screenplay idea. I would have actually done it in the past though, of the kid going to Freddy's for the first time in the 80s or the 90s or something, and you know, being a kid behind the scene and getting suspicious about William Afton and stuff, and maybe seeing the murders happen and escaping. I don't know, something like that would be pretty cool. You can even keep that in actually. Of a kid go like in the future movie, have at the start of the film just a kid getting murdered, maybe going to the location, seeing William Afton for the first time, seeing what's going on, getting suspicious, trying to escape, gets caught by William Afton and dies. Something like that would still work in the actual movie. The Ghost Trackers Screenplay. Basic setup. A group of amateur ghost trackers sneak into the abandoned Freddy's. Problems. Although a very common sense setup for this sort of movie, the problem again arose about how to give these characters a connection to Freddy's itself. What ended up happening was too much of the story went to their own backstories and their own hardships, and it took the spotlight away from the story of Freddy's. Verdict. A stronger connection between protagonist and Freddy's was needed. Lesson learned. So yeah, again, I like that idea. Investigating ghost hunters, going to an abandoned Freddy's, getting attacked by the animatronics, finding lore along the way, some lore about the backstory about what happened, and William Afton. I like that idea actually, but the problem was with that script, guys, is that during the movie, if it happened, we'd get too much information about the backstory about the investigators and stuff. And their hardships from their own past, which wasn't connected to the Freddy lore or anything, or the Freddy games, or you know, stuff like that. So I can see why Scott scrapped that one. The Insane Screenplay. Basic setup. Another ghost tracker variation. This one involved the Fun Time animatronics, underground ball pit tunnels, and a marionette out for revenge. Problems. As some other screenplays ventured too far into adventure, this one went too far into action. Verdict. Too all over the place, with too many characters doing too many things. Interesting! How the marionette was in this one with the Fun Time animatronics and being underground as well. Interesting. I like that one as well. Again, I know it's not going to happen, but the fact that the puppet was going to be connected with the Fun Time animatronics and stuff is interesting. Maybe it might not be. I don't know. Maybe they go to two separate locations. I don't know. But it's cool how the puppet was going to be in there. The final one, guys. The Mike Screenplay. Basic setup. This makes sense. Why didn't I think of this before? Problems. Actually, this is a good mix. It has the best pieces from all the previous screenplays. Not really any problems here. All the right characters, all the right motivations, all the right stakes. Verdict. Yeah, we're going with this one. It's fun, it's scary, and it has a great central story. Oh right, So on the bad news. The bad news is that there won't be any more screenplays to add to the list since we're officially making the Mike screenplay. Filming starts in spring. And there you go, guys. So the team, Blumhouse, Jason and Scott, and probably other people who are working on the movie, have decided to go with the Mike screenplay. Michael Afton, William Afton's son. Okay? So, I think this pretty much confirms, guys, that Mike might have been the one who caused the FNAF 3 fire. The one throughout all the story. The night guard in FNAF 1 possibly, and 2, and 3. Sister location as well. There's not a lot going on with it yet because Scott hasn't said when it's going to be set. But it's definitely to do with Michael Afton. Okay? Whether that's to do with sister location when he gets scooped, FNAF 3 burning down the location, finding his dad, William Afton, as Springtrap, rescuing the animatronic spirits. Okay? It could be all of it together. It could be a jam-packed movie just about Mike being in the FNAF 1 location, discovering what his dad's done, get more about Michael Afton's past. We'll know if he was the bully and he got his brother killed by Fredbear with the bite. We'll learn about all the old locations. We'll learn about his dad. We'll learn about his past. We'll learn about, him trying to fix what his dad started by, letting the spirits go from the animatronics. So, yeah. FNAF 6 as well. I forgot about FNAF 6. So, yeah. Interesting. We'll have to wait and see, guys. I don't know. I've told you everything that it could be, but I don't know how they're going to put it all in one movie, or they're going to do a FNAF 2 and FNAF 3. Okay? But what you need to know, guys, is that it's about Michael Afton. Okay? Which you can do so much with that. You can do all of the game lore. We can do all the fires and stuff, and the past as well, the past locations, because Mike was a kid there, because he was William Afton's son. So you've got everything there, everything, okay? And filming's going to start in 2021 in spring, okay? Prediction release date for the movie will be 2022, summer, October, something like that, okay? So exciting times, guys. Really, really excited. And again, I'd love to be in the movie, even if it's a small part. I'd just love it. I don't know. Maybe I could be one of the bullies or something, or Michael when he's younger or something. I don't freaking know. But it's so exciting. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of the scripts as well. I think that Michael Afton was the wisest choice, to be honest. Some of the other ones are really, really cool. And they could be ventured out in the future. Again, the investigator one, for example, can take place in the movie at some point. At the start of the movie, a bunch of ghost hunters go into an old location, then they all die, and then the title comes up, Five Nights at Freddy's. You can have stuff like that in the movie, okay? Just to kick off the film, and then it cuts to Mike or something. But yeah, really excited. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and yeah, let me know your thoughts. And I'll see you all next time.